Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Blaine, and you are watching Born Stubborn Radio. And it's the early morning, so I'm eating cereal and doing a movie review. Now, Red State. Red State's a movie by Kevin Smith. Anybody who knows who Kevin Smith is obviously a big fan of like Clerks, and that's about it. Clerks, Clerks 2, Chasing Amy, Jersey Girl, whatever. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, stuff like that. More so the latter. Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob, those are my favorite. Mallrats was good, but he wrote and directed all those movies. Now, this Red State is nothing like those movies. If you're expecting a Kevin Smith comedy, you're not getting it with Red State. This is one of those... Online they're putting it up as like a horror movie. I don't think it's a horror movie at all. It's more of like a suspense thriller. It's creepy because it's about these fundamentalist groups, these religious fundamentalist groups that are all against the homosexual stuff. And it's like, it's very disturbing, and I instantly thought about the Westboro Baptist Church, these God hates fags people that protest soldiers' funerals and stuff. This is obviously, this movie is about a group, it's a fictional group, obviously, but it's spooky because it could possibly exist. They're extremely violent, and they kill people, and there's a lot of familiar faces in this movie. John Goodman's in it, Kevin Pollak's in it, this guy who plays, what's his name? This guy Michael Parks, who plays the Reverend that runs this little tiny church, and they're all a family. Like, you know, he's the leader, obviously, and then there's the kids and the uncles and the aunts, and they're all related. And it's creepy. These people are really, really good actors, of course, too, which makes you frustrated. I actually want to punch the TV screen a couple of times.
We will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, woe's me if I preach not the Gospels. Corinthians 9:16.
Amen, Grandpa.
Oh, well, I think I preach that holy word.
Preach it, Daddy. Yeah.
Because they're so whacked out and, like, they're so mental. Like, you know, it's God's will that all these homosexuals should be killed. So they're like, somehow they justify killing people to keep the world balanced or something. It's ridiculous. I'm not religious at all, and then I watch these movies and I see some of these people, and I've actually met people like that, like not, you know, crazy violent people, but weird people that are so religious they're creepy to talk to. They just look like they're not all up there, and they look a little bit strange, almost possessed. And all the people in this movie look like that. They're like, you know, the preacher will say something, and then they'll get the, you know, the peanut gallery in the back. You tell him, Father. You tell him. You know, like these kind of like just ditzy, just gone. They're just gone. And they follow this guy to the end of the earth type of thing. And of course they've got their little church in the middle of nowhere. And these three kids in high school, they go looking for some tail. You know, they get on like fuckme.com or whatever website to look up a nice fresh piece of ass for the weekend. So of course they show up at this woman's trailer, and she's looking for, she wants three young guys. So of course these three young guys are in high school, and they roll up, and it just obviously feels weird right away. Basically they get trapped in it by this woman and her husband, by this church is what it is. You know, to set an example for God. So they capture these three kids who wanted to, you know, lay pipe on this lady all night long type of deal. And, you know, I guess they're evil for wanting to have sex. Whatever. Open minds are not a crime. Then again, what they wanted to do is kind of weird, like three dudes and one chick. That's kind of strange, right? But whatever. It's part of the movie. She puts this ad out there like she wants three dudes. So three dudes show up, they capture the three dudes, and shit starts hitting the fan. This movie is fucking violent as all hell. There is guns, there's fucking battles, and like there's like a fucking war going on in this movie. And it is awesome. I didn't know what it was. It was like, online it was saying it was a horror movie. I didn't look that much into it. And then I got watching this thing, and I said, okay, it's not a horror movie. It's more like a thriller suspense thing. And there's this church, and then there's the feds and stuff. So John Goodman is one of the feds, like the ATF squad or something, that comes in after shit hits the fan, because the local sheriff is actually Stephen Root, who you might remember him from Office Space. He played Milton, and he's always good in movies. When I see him in shows and movies. So it's cool to see him and stuff, and it's just solid. There's like I said, there's a lot of familiar faces in this movie, and it wasn't anything as I expected it. And the ending is fucking hilarious. Not hilarious. It made me laugh. If you definitely watch this movie, the last words were the last words in this movie before the credits roll up were great. It just it was the punchline to the whole fanatical, fundamentalist, like, religious thing. It was just a great way to end it. The last words were fantastic, and I won't tell you what they are because you got to watch this thing. But it was a really good ending. The whole thing came to a close. I fucking loved it. I mean, Kevin Smith as a director, I thought he just did these over-the-top type of comedy movies, which are great. I mean, I love Jay and Silent Bob, and Clerks is awesome, and they're great. What is the other one? Zack and Miri? He did Zack and Miri, right? They're just great. They're so funny. And then he comes up with this thing, which is a complete black and white contrast to what he's done before. Red State. It's a great story. He wrote it, he directed, he edited. I was watching the credits, and his name was all over this thing. Now, distribution. How the fuck did you see this? The way he's doing it, because it's his own movie and he owns the whole thing. It's on demand right now. So you can go on your TV and you can get it on demand. And I think, what was it, the 22nd of September, it's in select theaters. So it's kind of cool how you can rent it on demand, and it comes out in the theater, you can go watch it in select theaters, which is probably, for me living in a small town, it's probably not going to come here. It might. There's a screening room downtown. It might go into the screening room. And I'd go see it again if it did. Quality stuff. I definitely give it a thumbs up or something. I say watch it. Even if you're a Kevin Smith fan, or if you're not, because this movie has got nothing to do with, like, don't say, oh, Kevin Smith, he does the Zack and Miri, the Jay and Silent Bob stuff. He does all that Jay and Silent Bob stuff. He's vulgar. No. This is just an awesome movie. It's intense, great performances, and man, shit starts happening in this movie, and like I said, I wanted to punch my TV a couple of times because these people in the movie are such good actors. But as of now, I checked IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes has it listed at a 38%, which is whatever, don't listen to them. They're usually pretty good, but the movie's still fairly new, so I guess the ball's still rolling. IMDb gave it a 6.6. I mean, if I was going to rate it out of 10, I'd give it a 7.5, maybe even an 8. I really enjoyed it. It's really well put together. The camera work is great, like the cinematography and stuff, and the way that shit just happens. It's not your standard way of making a film. Like, you think there's going to be this big long struggle, and boom, sometimes somebody just gets shot in the head, like random. Like some guy, you'd be like, oh, who's this guy? And then he's dead. You're like, wow, I was just kind of curious who he was, and it kind of sounded like he had something important to say, and then somebody fucking shot him in the head. Maybe this is the evolution of Kevin Smith, man, because if he does more stuff like this, and I'll be watching. I like Kevin Smith's comedy, and I figured I'd give him a shot with Red State. Rented it on video on demand, and that is all I have to say. I fast-tracked this video in here because it was fantastic. And oh yeah, my cereal's getting soggy. I've been talking for like 8-9 minutes. Fuck. In select theaters, September 22nd. Video on demand right now. Definitely worth a watch. It's such a good ending too. Oh man, it was great. Really good ending.
You can see, but you're not blind.
Alright.